Well, hello, grüezi, servus, und g'day once again. It's Tolley here. This is Tollescope. Willkommen, welcome. I'm going to go into the second of my foreshortening videos, and this one's going to be about pointing, which is going to be fun. The last one will be about splaying, which is difficult there. So we're working our way upwards in difficulty. For my part, I want to, in the future, change things up a little bit because I find that I'm labouring over finishing things up to a concept level. And I think that this channel, and for me in particular, personally, it's all about drawing. That's what I love doing, and I think that's what people like seeing. So do let me know and subscribe to all that sort of thing. Let me know in the comments. So in the future, I want to change things up a bit and go into more of a sketchy thing and give you examples about the way in which I tackle storyboards or tackle a particular job. Or just faster and more the way I would sketch for myself. I think is what I'm getting around to eventually. So I hope you like that idea. So let's go into this pointing foreshortening one, and I'll catch up with you on the other side. Right then. Well, here's one I prepared earlier, so to speak. Just going over this with a little more explanation of the details. In the previous video, I covered the structure of the hand, etc. What I'd like to do is just sort of take notes and have a look at this and go over it with a stronger brush for one thing, and describe to you what it is that I'm doing. So here, if we were to take a bone, say in the tip of the finger, your actual bone would look like this, and then it would meet the other bone. So these circles that I'm drawing as a structure are not the bones themselves. They are where the bone joins and moves. Now there is foreshortening here, not just a simple structure line for a hand. There is foreshortening here with this one on the thumb, and that's where the thumb looks like a circle coming towards us. But then you can see that the joint here is hidden. That joint is in there, and then it swings away from us, and then this joint is in here. So that's hence the circle. A corresponding circle would be here, and then the one in the whole wrist area here. The wrist is made up of 28 bones, I believe. I might be wrong on that. And so then bringing the thumb out here, we're clearly dealing with the movement of this joint, and then again the looking end onto the thumb, and skin, etc. falls away from that. So I just wanted to go over that a little more clearly this time. Oddly enough, a hand is pretty much from tip to palm is like the head in a way, only inverted. Halfway for the knuckle, and then 1/3. Who would have thought, hey? And if that was an upside down face, then that'd be your eye line, and your nose would be here somewhere. So then, of course, adding skin, muscle, etc. Then there's a bit of a stretch here for this finger, as all of these fingers come down, they all reach down this way and then curl under. And again, circle for the knuckle. Of course, the joint itself would be in there. And then skin folds around these joint areas. Again, here we go. Draw what you see, not what you know. All I am seeing here is just the bare indication of the knuckles behind. Maybe a little bit of that there and a little bit of that there. But we are not seeing the palm. We are not seeing a smidgen of the palm. But we're not seeing any of the other fingers once it goes into that pose. And away you go. So with that in mind, I will now move on to a drawing of myself, a self-portrait of me pointing towards the mirror. So a pointing hand in foreshortening. I'm doing a bit of a new thing here, which is to draw and talk at the same time. Not sure how that's going to go, but let's try it out. Starting to block in really large basic shapes. Now this is, I'll just draw these in to make things a little clearer. So this is like the fist that we drew, like so. Middle finger here is, of course, the longest, then they get shorter. And then tucking under here, we're actually doing some foreshortening there, away from us. And what would normally be a circle that I would draw in here is now reduced and hidden behind this first front knuckle. And the same here, and because the fingers also get narrower as well as shorter, then they tuck in and taper. And so there would be the knuckle, and there would be the knuckle, and there would be the knuckle, being all obscured now, and then barely see the tips of the fingers. So like so, and barely see the tips of the fingers, another knuckle there, and then the nail. The thumb is so foreshortened that it is in fact just the very end joint, and to make this clearer I will just do some cylinder lines around that last joint that's squashed up against the palm. These fingers are also squashed up against the palm, and then I hope there it's starting to make sense for you. Creases of the hand, and then we get to the one that matters, which is the pointing index finger. Now with this, the pointing index finger, the tip of it is here. Clearly it's too short for a finger outstretched if we were looking at it side on, but here are our what would normally be these joints, like so. So we only see the underside of the index finger, and then the rest is sort of a gesture of connection between those pinion points, those pivotal points with the knuckles. And so the palm comes like so. Then it's skin and muscle, and then some overlaps of the muscle, the skin around the knuckle here. This is an important line I've found. This one here, I'm drawing it very slowly. This really offers a sense of this finger, the middle finger, being slightly in front. And again, there, an intersecting line, I call those. So there's the basics for our hand. And then my little head is in proportion with this. So I'll do a little egg. Like so. My head is tilted in the mirror a little bit back. So what would be the center line is going to rise up. And so we're actually going to get a bit of under the chin there. I think I've shown you this before, a little bit of a curve for the chin, but then we can see under. And then always working around the drawing, neckline there, cheekbones. Collar. Bit of a cloth fold for the shirt there. The collars come down here. And again, foreshortening. We're not going to see any wrist with the foreshortening. We're just going to see the foreshortened forearm there. So this is the part that goes into the wrist and then underneath. And then the whole upper arm disappears behind. And now when you just grab a bit of that outside edge of the forearm, and then now we're in here, so I'll just go in for a bit of detail on the face. Just like so, just the end of the nose there. And again, these are all very loose structure lines. So I find it's actually better to keep things very loose. You can always go in with another layer on top. There. And looking very serious as I sketch away. Bit of shadow, bit of beard going on here. And more beards, and this is about the time that I would pull back, have a look at the whole drawing. I'm looking very great look of consternation there on my face. Wearing my drawing face. And hair disappears behind here. And so pulling back, have a look at the whole drawing, the whole image. So we've got our foreshortening and we have perspective all happening at once. And I'll just go into the hair there. Which is a bit of directional line there. And ears and cheekbone there. So that's a rough start, and I will continue that. So what I'm going to do is just go straight for the comic book edge and go in and ink it. So first I soften that layer down to about 30%, and this is where all of our structure is in place, and I can go in and make adjustments as I'm inking. So here I want to see the index finger longer. I'll just take the gradient off this tool. Oops, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. So I'll go for the line linear layer. And now do a bit of line work, and I found that you can get a real sense of the foreshortening just with your line work. That's better. And so we get that brush point going there. This is often more of a stretched line. Look back in the mirror just to double check where I'm at. And we get a bit of this happening where you can look down the finger as it's tucked away there underneath the fingernail. And here you can get a real sense of the foreshortening. And a bit of what I like to call the squishy intersection of fingers when they meet at the hand. And a bit of a knuckle moving in the foreground. And so squishy. And then lines tucked away. Didn't like that last line. I'll just leave that one, I think, and let it have a bit of more of a curve. And then the tip of the finger at the bottom. And so here you have a little indent in the old knuckle, and from up here and our little finger is almost tucked completely away, so we might get just a little edge of nail there, and suggestion of a knuckle. And now these, you can probably see, I'll turn up that layer again. These are probably the bluntest lines that I did in the sketches. These lines here that we're looking at in amongst the sketches. To get this thing happening, this forward to back, an intersecting line that gives you a forward to back. So I'll just undo that and bring it back down again to 32%. So that's what I'm looking for here, is just in the outline itself, now that the structure's in place, just to give that, there's our knuckle, there's the rest of the knuckle, and then it just comes away. That's even a bit too hard. Maybe I'll go the other way. And I can do this, I can turn this all round and go into this detail because I've got the structure there. So I want to start there, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for the same thing over here, and then I can go in a bit deeper here. That tucks away in behind. I hope that makes sense, that just that line offers the notion that it's going behind this line. So this line goes behind this line here. And I hope that makes sense when you look at it like that. And that's something I learned actually a long time ago in life drawing, when you're trying to describe the human form just with line. And there, and this of course, I haven't had a look at it from outside. Right, so what I want to see here is probably another little stretch line there, and then this top knuckle will come down even further. So we really get a sense that this finger is pointing up, and these are all in line together here. Okay. And now looking at the stretch, I think would happen more down this way. No? There. There, that's what I want to see. It's more like a palm. You get a little bit of that around here, but you'd also get some internals. And then this line here wants to come around the back a little more, like so. And so each of these gives a sense of what's coming forward and what's going behind. And again with the thumb. So if I'm moving this way, then I would have a little line there, and then the majority of it is going to be there. We'd have a suggestion of the joint of the thumb and a suggestion of the other joint of the thumb, which is, no, I wouldn't even get that. I might get something here just coming out from underneath, and then I like the side of that line, but I just want to finish that off properly. Okay, now looking at this, I've drawn it from what I saw in the mirror, but I don't like the pose of that thumb. I think this thumb would be more dynamic if it's actually moved out from the rest of the hand. So I will take that in Photoshop here, and I will move that to about there. Of course, there are so many variables, so the decision is up to you. It's just that you need to get the anatomy right. So that makes these two lines here, here and here, makes them redundant. And I want to just go in and tighten those up. So I'll just take that away, and I'll take that one away. And then that gives me the space for the extended thumb, newly extended thumb. And that's probably going to look something like that. No, it's going to look something more, no, even more so. I think it's probably going to be there somewhere. And now that it's not so squashed, I can take this little squash line away, and then we're looking more like a thumb, extended. And here I can have a look at it this way, and go into, there'll be a bit of the knuckle there, but then it will come to the palm. And the palm will have hopefully a nice little flourishing line there. So I'm happy with that as just a bit of line work. We'll go in here and give a bit of a knuckle definition on this side, and often there's one that you see there. And I will take the liberty of giving a bit of a wrist, and then that inside forearm, another bit of possible wrist there. Might even get a bit of a just a bit of that, just to show off the inside of the wrist that wants to go out and round. So there's our hand, and shirts and fabric and jeans, they'll have their own bit of anatomy involved. So I'm just here. Hair also can be quite random, and you just need to find your style for it, but always paying attention to the properties that they have. Where cloth is pulling from is very important. And so I'm going to leave this quite open. Maybe cloth is another video altogether. And I'll just go in quickly and do a bit of eye work. Again, very much my shorthand. Having drawn hundreds of thousands, if not millions of eyes. And again, going from my structure lines. So I've lost sight here of the bigger picture, so to speak, and I'm relying on my structure lines to give me the indication of where things need to be, where things need to go, because the proportion is already decided. That's too open, so I'll just take a bit off that eye there. And this one over here. And quite happy with the sketchiness of this drawing, but inking it in this fashion. Come on, turn. Thank you. Inking it in this fashion eliminates, without having to do the cleanup, which I think I did on a previous drawing. Went into the cleanup process, and suggestion of nose there. That's too far. It needs to be on the other side, because I'm looking just a little bit with my head turned to the right hand side of camera. Yes, inking over the top on another layer is oh, that's terrible. Inking over the top on another layer allows you to eliminate the structure lines. Keep as many of them as you wish. And sometimes it's good to have Hatching, sometimes it's not good to have hatching. And I just want to clean up those structure lines and give the drawing a little more definition. And then back out again. Let's look at that. I think the eyes are too big. So I'll just go in there. Take this. And shrink that eye down. Shrink this eye down. Line them up properly. I think that's a bit better. Could go just a little bit more like that. And now that we're getting into such a pared back look at this drawing, pared back version, converting my structure lines into finished ink lines. As I said, it's not about the face this time. I'll just knock this bit out. And just showing the basics. Gestural lines there, and that's looking pretty good. What's going to happen in here? I think there might be a bit of that involved on the thumb, and like so. Hair pulled back behind, can't see where it's going, just can see that the direction of the hair there. And so that's more of a pointy drawing. And so I'm going to turn off the skit there, which I want something in here. And then turn that off. Maybe there needs to be a bit more. No. So from that point on, I'll go into a bit of very, very blocky shading in the next step. Okay, so toning him up. We will go with a bit of a wet brush, and I'll do this in my more like a storyboard style, and So just covering that. So I'm using it at only 20%. So it's got a wash sort of look to it that I can then increase the layers on and give it some watercolor look to it. And so I think that's all I'm going to do on this, because basically I've found that I want this this channel to be about drawing rather than spending too much time finishing pieces up to a really highly detailed level. Because it's the drawing that I like the most. And we'll just give them a bit of texture. Great. And we'll go in here. Let's take out this area, highlight there, there. And I think that should be about it. Maybe a bit of a highlight around here. And we'll just drop in a little smidgen of a highlight there. So, of course, you can just keep on going ad nauseum, but I'm going to leave it there. Did I say that already? Yes, I did. Yeah, I'll leave the hair. Okay, so there he is. All finished up in a quick, sketchy type of style, with a bit of comic book inking of the line. So, there you have it. Pointing a hand, which I do a lot of, and foreshortening down the length of that. In this one, I gave it more of a more of a comic book line to finish up with, which I think is also quite interesting. But as I said, I want to go into more of a Fast and Furious type of sketchy feel for the next couple of videos, and I'll see what you think of that. I'm going to be traveling to Australia, back to Australia, to say hi to people there, the family, bit of a holiday, bit of a working holiday as well. So there might be a few pauses in the number of videos that I'm putting up, but I will hopefully do a bit of recording while I'm there, even if it's just sound. And then maybe I'll do more of a podcasty type thing with some stills photographs when I get back. So until then, sicher Reise, safe travels for me and for you. If you like Tollescope, then please do subscribe away and then leave some comments and suggestions about what you'd like me to draw. Sketchy or otherwise, tell me what you like, and we can take it from there. So I look forward to the next one. Take care. Cheers.